Welcome to another DFS special here on Fantasy Focus through Monkey Knife Fight. I'm Derek Tate alongside Ryan Levy and Matt Bucks as the Fantasy Focus crew is making their Monkey Knife Fight DFS picks for the Detroit Lions taking on the Chicago Bears. Boys, the monsters of the Midway going to the Motor City to kick off the 2020 NFL season. But we've got some breaking news that's going to pertain to some of our picks in this game. We don't expect Kenny Golladay to be available for the Detroit Lions. And also, it looks like David Montgomery, who got apparently reports of being carted off, it looks like his groin injury, he may be available for this tilt against the Detroit Lions. So, boys, you guys about ready to jump into this?
Let's do it.
Oh, I'm ready.
Diving right in. No monkeying around, pun intended. And by the way, if you haven't yet done so and this is your first time checking out one of these Monkey Knife Fight videos, create an account over at monkeyknifefight.com. Use the promo code FOCUSED. When you make your first deposit of $50 or more, you actually get an additional $50 credited to your account. So here's the game that we're going to be starting off with, reception collection. And that means you have to pick three either running backs, receivers, or tight ends, a collection of all, one from each team. And you have to hit reception totals of either 17 for 2 times your buy-in, 18 for 3 times your buy-in, or 21 for 5 times your buy-in. Boys, I want to go with the 18 reception total for 3 times your buy-in in this bout. And again, with no Kenny Golladay, how do you guys see this one playing out? Levy, I'll throw it to you first.
Well, I do want to mention real quick that the Bears haven't lost to the Lions since Nagy took over as head coach. So I do expect the Bears to win, and I expect Mitch Trubisky to do just enough to keep his job another week from BDN. But on the Lions side of the ball, I got to go Marvin Jones here. There's no doubt in my mind that's the guy I want in reception collection.
Agreed.
Okay, so we've got ourselves Marvin Jones. What about for the Chicago Bears pass catchers? Do you like Allen Robinson? Do you want a stack of him and Anthony Miller? What about Tariq Cohen coming out of the backfield? How do you see the target distribution going between the Bears pass catchers?
Honestly, I think Allen Robinson out the gate, and then I think Tariq Cohen's going to be huge in this game, especially Noah Montgomery coming off that banged-up injury, carted off the field. Sure, he may play a role, but honestly, my guy for this is Allen Robinson, and I believe that Tariq Cohen's going to finish this game with 5+ receptions.
Yeah, it's Allen Robinson's an easy one for me. But if you look down the stretch last year, Tone Miller was a really good PPR option. Like, he's got the vibe with Trubisky, and we've been pretty high on Tone Miller now since he was coming into the league, right? For me, I just think I see Tone Miller with like 7 catches in this game. So I'm going to lean with Tone Miller over Tariq Cohen as our third option. Tater,
you guys are making me pick this one. And what is it? In Trubisky, we trust? I mean, guys, that's the only issue here is with you're trying to pick 2 Bears pass catchers. That means you're investing in Mitchell Trubisky being a competent quarterback in week 1. So, I mean,
yes,
you could pivot and go with like TJ Hawkinson.
That's what I wanted to propose. I wanted to bring it up for discussion. It seems like we're not in unison on our third player. I agree with Allen Robinson and Marvin Jones, but what about TJ Hawkinson? I mean, we don't know the involvement that's going to be for DeAndre Swift, the talented rookie out of the University of Georgia, because they signed Adrian Peterson. Swift's been dealing with an injury for most of training camp, which means the lack of reps. I don't know how much Matt Patricia is going to roll him out in week 1. Somebody other than Marvin Jones has to catch passes, and really, Hawkinson is 100% healthy heading into the year. I think Hawkinson is the guy that I want more so than I trust Matthew Stafford exponentially more than I trust Mitchell Trubisky.
Anyone ever tell you you're a good salesman, Tate?
From time to time.
I mean, you make a good point, but I just look historically at Detroit, and I don't really see it as an oasis for tight end play.
Come on, that's where Abron was bred.
Yeah, but he never sprouted. He was planted.
Look, what I'm saying is, I mean, we saw what Hawkinson was capable of with his NFL debut last year, which I think he went for over 100 yards and had, I think, 5+ receptions. I mean, Bucks, you know this. Hawkinson has as much talent as any tight end in the National Football League. I think this guy's got like top 3 potential. So in his second year heading into the league healthy and with a lack of other options in the passing game for week 1, I just like his volume that I expect. I mean, I know it's not going to be the best matchup, whether he's going to be matching up against Roquan Smith or potentially Eddie Jackson or anything like that. That's not picture perfect, but
no, it's not.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say that, he's going to put up a tight end, like he's going to finish as the number 1 tight end in week 1. But I do think that there's some possibility that he's going to see a bit more volume than we're accustomed to from Detroit tight ends, given that Kenny Golladay is going to be on the shelf more than likely.
That's a fair assumption. I like the quarterback play a lot better with Detroit. So I'm totally fine with that pick.
I knew you'd see it my way. So kidding. Yeah, baby. All right, I'm gonna put a $2 spot on this because I'm gonna be playing every NFL game this freaking week. So I need to conserve dollars. But while I'm getting re-teed up here, what is the next contest that you want to play? We're just jumping straight to a 30 spot, right?
Yeah, 35 spot.
35 spot. 35.
It's 35 spot now. I mean, even better. Great. I'm yeah, bankrolling through Monkey Knife Fight. So give me a sec while I scroll over, but more or less 35 times your buy-in. You got to go 6 for 6. And one thing that you do need to keep an eye on when it comes to Monkey Knife Fight, if you make a prop bet that involves a player and they end up becoming inactive, it just cancels your bet. So
right.
that's how that'll work. It's not going to, play a game that the player is inactive for. So just keep that in mind. But for this one, Matthew Stafford, 275.5 passing yards. Are we going more or less, boys?
Oh, man. The Bears defense is still legit.
I'm going less.
I want to go less here as well. Even though I think they're going to be playing from behind. I'm gonna lean less, man.
I think it's 100% less. You take away Kenny Golladay, his number 1 passing target in this offense. I'm going to lean away from Stafford, and I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I wanted to stay away from touchdown dance in this one. Moving on to Mitchell Trubisky, 254.5 passing yards. Guys, I'm going less on this as well. Trubisky, he has these games where he blows up, and the second tilt against the Detroit Lions last year, Trubisky just absolutely shredded him. I think he dropped over 300 yards passing, if I remember correctly. But I just, again, this defense is vulnerable on the back end. They lost Darius Slay, but they replaced him with Jeff Okudah. I'm just going to stay away. Trubisky, I don't even know if he starts to struggle on the first drive or two. Are we even confident that he finishes the game? I mean, do they go to Big Phallus Nick, as Buckey would call him?
You talking about BPN?
Yeah, Big BPN. I thought it was F, but
BPN. No, I'm gonna go less here.
Oh man, I just hate Mitch Trubisky. I can't get on board with him in any scenario. The 254 is so low, but yeah, I'll go less.
Okay. So if we're going less on,
mind you, Josh Allen had what, 212
or 222? Yeah, something
like that.
No,
At 254. Wow. So we're going with Allen Robinson. I love me some AR-12, but I mean, if we're predicting that Trubisky is not going to top 250, how do we feel about Robinson at 70?
I still feel good about him at 70 because someone's got to catch passes and get yardage there, right? Even if he only throws for $150, I feel pretty confident that Allen Robinson's going to have half of those yards. So I'm gonna go more on 70.5.
Bucky,
I'm gonna go more.
I'm definitely fading David Montgomery, though. I do not feel good about that scenario at all.
I mean, if we're taking a look at last season, the stat line for Allen Robinson was pretty damn consistent at 86 yards. I'm still willing to go more on the 70.5. So fired in there. Allen Robinson, 70.5 receiving yards. This one's tricky, boys, because if David Montgomery is a full go, I think that 53.5 rushing yards is very, very, very doable. Obviously there's the risk with if he were to aggravate the injury or something of that nature, or he's on a considerably he's like on a pitch count or something of that nature. But he practiced in full. So I'm going to go ahead and think that he's good to go. And I think 53 is very doable in a game where I think the Bears are going to want to try to control the clock, ball control, possession, and feed the beast that is Montgomery.
I'll go more.
Levy doesn't like it.
Yeah, but with that being said, he was a full go, and they don't really have anyone else that can carry the ball.
Cohen's more of a, this, he's a change of pace player in space.
Right.
Even if Montgomery wasn't healthy, I didn't feel confident that Cohen was going to see 10 carries.
No.
So I think that if Montgomery is healthy, 53.5 is very doable. So Marvin Jones, I think this is easy. More on 5.5 receptions.
No doubt.
Buck.
Yeah. Who else? More.
TJ Hawkinson, that's who. And then Tariq Cohen. God, I don't like this. 4.5 receptions, more or less. He could be. I may put in 2 bets just so I can go more and less on him in specific.
I'm going more. I think he gets 6.
I think he gets 5 on the nose, so I'll go more.
Are you going more? Just for context purposes, both games last season he caught 4 passes. So this is set right on the line. I will say that the one thing that I want to take into account is that Taylor Gabriel is no longer with the team. And, yes, we saw Anthony Miller have a mini breakout when Taylor Gabriel was no longer on the squad. But I also think that not necessarily all those targets are going to be absorbed by the likes of Anthony Miller. I do think that Tariq Cohen is one that is going to see a little bit of, he's going to see his consistent work in the passing game. So yeah, I'll roll with that, guys. You guys already had me outnumbered, so we're going more regardless. But yeah, let's go ahead and do it. $2 for a $70 return on investment.
Boom.
Fired in there.
Let's do this.
Boom.
All right. Any other thoughts on this game before we go ahead and sign off, boys?
No, Bears win.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. Anyway, so this is your first time joining us on the Monkey Knife Fight DFS picks or just coming across our Fantasy Focus channel in general, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Don't miss our live show tomorrow when we're answering any and all of your fantasy football start-sit questions heading into the opening week of the NFL season. Again, if this is also seeing your first time coming across Monkey Knife Fight, go ahead and go to monkeyknifefight.com, create an account, use the promo code FOCUS when you're making your first deposit. Any deposit of $50 or more, Monkey Knife Fight will automatically credit an additional $50 in your account. So until next time, everybody. Later, says the Tater. I forgot my line.
See ya.